Hi, it's new me. So I'm going to be doing my labour and delivery story today. It's mega late because Grayson's actually going to be 3 months tomorrow. Today's Sunday and he's actually 13 weeks today, but it rolls that he's 3 months old tomorrow. It's absolutely crazy. You cannot believe it. So today, Dean's downstairs with the kids. I'm doing their lunch, so I thought I'd take advantage, run upstairs and do my labour and delivery story before I completely and utterly forget everything. So, Grayson was born on the 22nd of July this year, 2012, on a Sunday. Um, yeah, so he was 13 days late. I had no sweep or anything during those 13 days. I just let nature run its course. And I had a sweep with Leo, and it was agony, and I swore I'd never have one again. So I just waited. I didn't really want to wait any more than 2 weeks, because that's how far they let you go now, 2 weeks, and then you're induced. So I thought, if it came to it, I would have to be induced on the Monday. So everything was planned. My mum was going to come over and have the children. Um, if it took days, would have, for the next, like the Tuesday and the Wednesday, we had everything sorted for the children. Luckily, it's summer holidays. That on the Friday was the last day of school, so we've just gone into summer holidays. So there was no school runs or anything. It was just literally looking after the children. Everything was packed and all ready to go. So anyhow, on the Saturday, the 21st, Dean took the kids out for a bike ride. And I was like, right, I'm going to do something. So I cleaned all the windows outside, inside and out, and I did loads of gardening, like pulling up weeds and just neatening things, and lots of bending, lots of squatting, reaching and cleaning. And I was just like, I was really fed up. I just thought, if I do some, I don't know, moving around, it might get things going. So I just got worn out. I was absolutely knackered after doing that. Um, yeah, so I think it was a really hot day, so I think I sat in the garden for a bit and just played with the kids. And anyhow, Saturday night, I was having a few contractions. Bear in mind, I'd had no signs of labour before this. Like with the others, I'd had shows and loads of Braxton Hicks and things like that. I had absolutely nothing with Grayson, no sign of anything, just absolutely nothing. So I was having a few Braxton Hicks with him in the evening. I mean, I did have an app on my phone that I was timing them, but they were so erratic. They were like 20 minutes, 7 minutes apart, 14, 11 minutes apart. And so I didn't really think anything of it. I did mention it to Dean, but unless I'm like in agony, contractions are like a minute apart, then he's like, no, you're not in labour. So, okay. Um, yeah, so I went to bed, I think about 10:30ish, because obviously the next day was the Monday, we were going to be induced and want to be well rested. I had been sleeping upstairs and Dean had been sleeping downstairs because he drives all day and I'm up all night, and it's just dangerous if he's tired for work every day. So we stuck to our normal sleeping routine and went to bed. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, AJ had wet the bed, so I got up and sorted out AJ, because obviously there's no point in me going and waking up Dean or whatever, and I was half awake anyway. Um, yeah, so I went and sorted out AJ, went to the toilet, got back into bed, was still having these like Braxton Hicks contractions or whatever. They weren't at all painful, absolutely nothing in them. And I was like, oh, I might as well just, there was a couple of, I wasn't tired. There was a couple of videos on YouTube I wanted to catch up on, so I just watched it on my phone while timing these contractions. So I was lying there watching. I'd love to know what I was watching, but I can't remember. And there was this pop. This must have been about 2:15, and my waters had obviously gone, and I could feel it trickling out. And it was I could just remember it being so warm, and I was like, how the hell do I get out of this bed quickly without, getting the bed really, really wet? And I need to get Dean. So I'm shouting and screaming Dean to come upstairs because he's downstairs and he shut the middle door. And in the end, I had to phone him to come upstairs. How ridiculous is that? So he comes upstairs and I'm like, just grab some towels and chuck them underneath me. I'm literally holding myself together, holding, my legs and my bits tight just to try and stop the water coming out. And he chucked these towels underneath me, and it was just like, I don't know, a waterfall. There was just water everywhere. They were clear, all looked normal, and everything was fine. And I was like, what the hell do we do? Phoned my mum, told her, because she's got like a 40-minute drive to come where she lives. So like, Mum, just start getting ready because you're going to have to come over soon. So she was like, that's fine. Then I phoned the hospital and just let them know because I wasn't, was I having contractions? Okay, yeah, waters were broken. I was having contractions about 4 minutes apart. They were like, I'll make your way in. Then all of a sudden, my contractions were 2 minutes apart. I was in absolute agony, and I'd never had labour, sort of progress that quickly. So I'm on the floor. Dean's rubbing my back every 2 minutes. I'm trying to get ready, well, dressed, and straighten my hair. And the boys had woken up because Harmony's got her bedroom downstairs and the boys have got their bedroom upstairs. So if the lights were on, we were trying to get ready. They're like, "Yay, Mum's having the baby!" It was absolutely hilarious. So really, really funny. And plus, they were getting excited that Nanny was coming. So anyhow, 40 minutes later, or whatever, my mum arrives and we make our way to the hospital, which was only 6 minutes down the road, so we didn't have far to go. But oh my god, it was an agony. Got there and they were just about to close the labour ward, and so I had to go and wait a little while they, I don't know, sorted out a room or whatever. And my contraction was still about 2 minutes apart, and they were probably about a minute long. And the labour was all in my back. All my labours had been in my back, which is horrible. So anyhow, Dean's rubbed my back and all this business, and I'm like, just give me some gas and air, or just give me something. And I would have had an epidural if I could have had an epidural. I did ask, and they were like, there's just no chance. They were just really, really busy. There's just not going to be any chance of having that, so forget about that sort of thing. So anyhow, finally got a room, and it was the room I had AJ in, so it was like my first and last baby in the same room. So that was really nice. Was it AJ? Or was it? Yeah, AJ, first and last. So that was quite bizarre, being back in there again. Anyhow, so my contractions are really getting strong at this point, and I had like labour pains in the top of my legs and my thighs. I'd never had that sort of pain in there before. I'd always had it all in my back and sort of round the front. So this was all new to me. I was like, why the hell am I got all these pains in my legs? I had heard that people had it before, so anyway, I just went with it. And I was like, I need something. I need, if I could have had an epidural, I would have had the epidural, even though that wasn't my plan, and I didn't have an epidural or Harmony, and that was the best labour and birth out of the others. So anyhow, this is getting to about, I don't know, 5ish. Well, when I got there, she checked me and I was 6 centimetres, and I'd never been that far. So anyway, we kept going on, and I was like, I really do need something, just to help me cope. I was getting to that point where, transition was like, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. I'm really fed up. I want to go home, get the baby out, and all that. So she was like, you've only got about an hour to go. Do you want some pethidine? And I was like, oh, it made me really sick last time. If I have got, I thought she was tricking me because they always say, oh, you haven't got that long to go. All my other labours have been really long. I was like, you're lying to me just to make me feel better. Um, she's like, no, I really do think you've only got about an hour to go. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a couple more contractions. And I was like, no, okay, you have to give me something. So anyway, I had a shot of pethidine, which it doesn't take any of the pain away. It just basically made me sleep in between the contractions. And it's so weird because, like, how long is pethidine meant to last for? Because she was right. I mean, I literally had the pethidine. He was born an hour later. But as soon as he's born, you're not sleepy anymore and everything's fine. It just can't work, go out of your system, can it? But anyhow, so yeah, an hour later, I was sort of sleeping in between contractions and that, and I started pushing. Dean was like, are you pushing? Bearing in mind we're a bit on our own. I don't think, the midwife was barely there. If we wanted her, we had to buzz her, basically, because they were just so busy. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh my god, panicking. So he goes and presses the button, and the midwife comes in. And Dean was like, oh, she's pushing. And she was like, oh, let's have a look then. She's like, oh yeah, you're fully dilated. And so we just went with it. I don't think I was pushing him out that long. I think it was only about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. And it was really bizarre because I could literally completely and utterly feel him coming down the birth canal, and like the heaviness of it all and the weight and him coming down. It was really, really strange. I can remember her saying to me a few times to stop pushing. and I don't think I did. I think at that point I was like, no, I want him out. And I just went with what my body was saying. If my body was saying, you need to push, I was pushing, regardless of what, she was sort of saying. Obviously, when he was crowning, she was like telling me to do it slowly. So obviously, then, I'm not stupid. I was doing it slowly then. And I never got the ring of fire. I never had that with any of them. She was like, you might feel a burning sensation now. But I literally just felt, I don't know, the pressure of him, literally coming out. And he came out like this with his hand up above his face. And he still does that now. And I think, because I can remember, I'm sure I could feel his hand down there, like moving and stuff. So I really do think, his hand had been there for quite a while. But I'll go back to his hand in a minute because, um, issue with that sort of thing. Anyway, he came out. He was placed straight on my chest. I said to her straight away, "Can you just wait a minute until the cord has stopped pulsing before we cut it or anything?" She gave me the injection to push the placenta out. And obviously gave him a good rub, and then he started crying and massive relief, and he was humongous, and I was like, oh my god. And I don't know if I said it in the previous vlog, it was almost like I wasn't having another baby. Like, I've been so busy with the others, like it just all passed me by, and I was like, oh my god, I really am having a baby. And it wasn't up until he was born and he was given to me, I was like, oh my god, my baby. And oh my god, he just looks so much like Leo. He was so cute, and oh, it's just lovely. So anyway, the cord has stopped pulsing, and we checked that, and Dean cut the cord just like he did with all the others, and it was all lovely. The placenta came out really quick as well, and I could feel it. And oh my god, like the contractions were really bad after Grayson came out, really really bad. And she said to me, "Oh, it's there, just push it out." And I was like, "It really doesn't feel like it's there. It feels like it's really stuck up there." But it did come out. I think the reason I was in so much pain, it was such a huge placenta. It was really, really big. And, oh, that was worse than Grayson coming out. That felt awful. Anyhow, he was placed on me, and, I think he fed pretty much straight away. He was with me, it seemed like ages. And I was bleeding quite heavily. And they were like, oh, do we keep you in? Do we not keep you in? And so they sort of kept an eye on me on that. And that is one of my fears, is bleeding afterwards. I absolutely hate it. I'm getting them to check it like every 20 minutes. And bear in mind, we keep getting left, and they come back and getting left. And like, I feel a gush, and I'd like, Dean, just call someone to check. But luckily, they said I was on the higher end of bleeding, but I could go home, and I did 6 hours later. So anyhow, Grayson was weighed. He was 9'14", so he was massive. I really didn't. He looked really long like Leo. He didn't seem that much of a bigger baby. It's just when you take photos of them, they just seem really podgy, don't they? Yeah. So we dressed him, put his first cloth nappy on. That was rather exciting, and he obviously pooed in it straight away. We literally got him dressed straight away. She was like, "Yeah, just carry on doing what you like," and they were too busy. So yeah, we got him dressed. They came in and did his hit. They gave him the vitamin K straight afterwards. He obviously cried at that. Came and did his hearing test. Now there's two different types of hearing test. One where they just put something in their ear. But anyway, his ears were quite blocked, and then they had to do the other thing with the headphones, and I think they had to stick things on him. But he passed that. That was absolutely fine. And then 6 hours later, we could go home. But just before we were getting ready to go home, she's like, "They've given you your injections, haven't they?" And I was like, "No, what the hell are you on about?" She was like, "Oh, if you've had more than 3 or 4 babies, like, you've got more of a risk of having blood clots, so you have to give yourself a daily injection for a week." This is needle phobia over here. And I was like, there's just no way in earth I can give myself an injection in my belly every day for a week. So Dean was like, "I'll do it." I was like, oh my god. So they gave Dean a lesson on how to inject me. So I mean, it was a tiny needle. It was tiny. They hadn't, whatever. It wasn't very big or anything. And he had to do that. The first time was absolutely horrendous. He was like putting it in. This is like the day we got home. I was tired, emotional. I hate needles as it is. And Dean's trying to put this needle in my belly. And the first time he did it, he like put it in and took it out without pressing the pumpy thing. Oh my god. Anyway, that was a whole commotion. That's a whole vlog on its own. That was a right bloody commotion, that was. But anyway, the first is probably always the worst, isn't it? And after that, it was fine. So yeah, I mean Grayson was breastfeeding really, really well. Um, and he was, he was really good. He was jaundiced, and he stayed jaundiced for like 2 months because they were getting worried about him. And then the doctor was like, "No, it's fine," because the health visitor was like, "Go and see the doctor." And she was like, "No, breastfed babies hold their jaundice for a lot longer." And I was like, "I know he's fine." And health visitors, they do have a thing about making you panic, don't they? So yes, that was my labour and delivery story. Bit long-winded because it wasn't half as bad as the others, that they were really long and just seemed to drag for ages. So just to recap, my waters broke at 2 o'clock because I haven't put times in. We arrived at the hospital about 3:30. At about 6ish, half five, quarter to six, 6ish was when I had the pethidine, and then Grayson was born at 7:15 in the morning. So that was definitely my quickest labour by far. Um, yeah, so that is everything. So hopefully I'm going to be doing Grayson's 3 month update. I might even get it done today. We'll see, and we'll go from there. So see you later. Bye.